Hello everyone, I'm making this video to show you how I'm replacing the clutch on my 2004 Toyota Matrix XR 5-speed. I think all of these body styles up to about a 2007 are going to have a similar manual transmission. Um, and the reason I'm making this video, the ones that I found on YouTube, one was a little bit too detailed and I didn't have time to watch all the multiple 30 some odd videos. The other one made it seem like it was a super easy job, and it's not. So I don't want anyone to think they're coming into something easy. This is one of the toughest jobs that I've taken on. First thing I always do while it's still on the ground and you have it in gear with the parking brake on, I break the nut loose on both axles. You'll need a little screwdriver and possibly a hammer to straighten out this piece of the nut, which is what holds it in place. It's a 12-point nut, so you may have to, if you don't have a socket, you may have to get one at your local AutoZone. I think it's about a 32 millimeter. I'm thinking it is, but I used a 1 1/4, which is all I had. It's a little bit big, but it did the trick to break those loose. So the next thing I'm going to do is drain the fluid out of the transmission so it doesn't make a mess when I pull the axles. There's a fill plug right here that you'll want to go ahead and break loose. And then once you've done that, go ahead and jack it up. You want to make sure you have some good jack stands. You don't ever want to be underneath the car without the jack stands. You'll need two jacks if you can get a hold of them. I only have one, so I'm going to have to improvise. The second one is going to be needed to hold the engine up when you're pulling the transmission out, because you'll need the other one on the transmission. So when I pull the axles out, I always break the nut loose at the lower ball joint. There's a little cotter pin in there you'll have to pull out before you can take that off, and then you may need a pry bar to pry that apart. And then you may also have to break the link apart just to give you a little more room to work with, a little stabilizer link, and it's a 17 millimeter. You'll find that the whole assembly will spin when you start trying to break it loose. Some of them have a 17 millimeter size on this backside you can stick a wrench on while you break the nut loose. If not, you'll have to get a big pair of pliers to squeeze the link and the bracket together as you break the nut loose. Once you break it loose, it'll come right off. When you get ready to pull the, actually back to draining the fluid, it's a 15/16 size. I think it may be a 24 millimeter. But go ahead and break that loose. Once you start draining it out, pull the fill plug out so it drains smoothly, so it's not splashing around. When you already pull the axles out, make sure you don't jerk on the axle or you'll damage the boot or possibly the joint. What you want to do is you want to have a pry bar to where you can pry up behind here, and again, be careful because there's a seal right there. You don't want to damage the seal, but you want to be able to pry the joint loose. Once it pops out, it comes right out once you have a good leverage. If this seal is leaking on either side, take the opportunity to go ahead and replace that while you're already in there. I'll go ahead and come back once I have a little bit more. I'm going to try not to give you too much detail, but my next step after I disconnect the battery is going to be to pull all this stuff up on top out of the way, and I'll share any more detail that you need to know about that after I've completed that.